don't wanted to put this photo, but we are really afraid of these types of things in our ending time while returning to home. And so I don't want any of us to be having this type of feeling that we are having a throat irritation or a light cough. And these types of feelings we cannot even share with our family also. They get panic, what what are you talking about? So we have to be a little cautious, or we can take precautions of all types which are available in the market. If we take example of patients, we in my last 15 years of practice, I know that very well to do patients, very knowledgeable attendants, and they used to give us some holy book or a holy card or a holy photo to keep it under the patient's head or under the pillow, that they believe that the patient will get all right with all these types of practices. So we can also trust upon some of the things. Like I myself take HCQ prophylaxis. My wife used to give me that homeopathic medicine, what we call arsenic album 30, bendi plus ivermectin I am also taking. And my mom used to give me ayurvedic kada. So we can go ahead with all these things and improve our immunity, apart from wearing all N95 face shields and proper PPE. Uh, well, regional anesthesia is not at all contraindicated in COVID 19, and we should prefer regional anesthesia or neuroaxial blockade in patients with COVID 19. The use of regional anesthesia avoid need of GA, airway management, and the associated risk of aerosolization by airway secretions. So we should prefer whenever we have choice. Now coming to our guidelines, we are having definite some definitive guidelines for extubation planning, and De Silva et al. Gave us some useful guidelines. So first of all, extubation should ideally take place in negative pressure room, but I think most of us are not having these types of facilities. Our non-essential stuff shouldn't exist in the OT while extubation. Integrity of PP should be guaranteed, and prophylactic analgesics, antiemetics, and antitussives should also be administered on priority also. Antitussives, let us talk about antitussives. Uh, to avoid coughing or airway irritation, because that is the time when we get infected at the most. So we have to prevent coughing of the patient. Previously, I was not using those airway pressure gauges, but now I intermittently always measure the cough pressure of ET2, because with time we know that it gets bloated up, and then patient gets cough irritation and throat irritation. So please use that pressure gauge available in the market. Avoid repetitive poking of the suction catheter, because most of the time we or our assistant used to poke to suck out the secretion. So we should always make the practice that in the sealed environment we just introduce our suction catheter and then connect it to the suction and slowly withdraw that thing. So that thing that will produce less cough or less irritation to the throat. And antitussives we can give priority, like we can also give xylocaine spray or nebulize with xylocaine, and other medicines also. British General advocates mask over tube extubation. This is a very useful thing, and I am also practicing this in suspected patients. So it has four steps. First, we deflate the tube after having satisfied with all our criteria of extubation, and then bring that tube in the angle of the mouth and put a mask over that. Our tube is also having a HME filter, and our mask is also HME. So slowly take out the tube and put that sealed mask over the face, and then connect that our airflow or some air pipe with upon that mask filter. So in this way we can have a very good or safe extubation. So I also practice this type of extubation. And in addition to De Silva guidelines, Asenjo et al. Recommends sealed mask after intubation also. Now, some Massachusetts General Hospital prefers 24 hours of pressure ventilation support monitoring and then extubation using all barrier devices. They have developed plexiglass hoods, nylon hoods are in the market. Clear plastic sheets also we can use. plus proper sanitization with safe solutions like 70-75% medical spirit. Then they discard all the disposables and also do take care of ventilator or in our case boils machine for further use. We have to decontaminate the atmosphere as said by Dr. Devesh. Now we come to the complications which can occur and which occur in day to day practice, and we should take very well care of that in priority only. First thing, that in COVID patients or in suspected COVID patients, we are wearing PPE and our staff is also wearing PPE. Most of the times we have that 3M filtered mask, and from communication from that filtered mask is very cumbersome process. Sometimes you say something, your assistant, if not well versed, understands different thing. So we should make some sign language type of things in priority. It will be very helpful for us. Like in our PG days, we don't wanted to disturb surgeon, so our assistant used to tell is one up or one down BP, and that thing I think it's very helpful. And now talking of complications, so we can never neglect the possibility of laryngospasm or bronchospasm in while extubation. So we should have all these drugs in our vicinity, and so that we should not never run for these drugs and emergency medicines. Third, if in the worst case, if even after extubation, if because of some problem apnea occurs, then we don't have to panic, and we should just hold the mask with two hand technique, and just give him low tidal volume. है ना? So if we in just panic we give a larger tidal volume, or we push the bag too much, then there are chances of spread through air. So we should take due care of that also. And now, okay, I forgot to I forgot to change slides and I was just got emotional. So now the most important part is doffing, and we all are very well versed with doffing. And doffing should only be done once the patient is handed over to the ICU staff or the recovery room. After that only we should start our doffing with all the preferred guidelines. एंड वन थिंग वी ऑलवेज से राहत अली साहब का शेर है एक, वापस मतलब बुलाती है पर जाने का नहीं. तो मतलब once we have doffed out now, then we should never try to go to the ICU to have a glimpse of that patient or to know what is the current status of that patient and what we have operated upon. So we should always be very particular after doffing.